This is Focus Montreal, and that is the Youth Orchestra of the Americas performing in Medellin, Colombia, under the direction of Jean-Pascal Hamelin. The orchestra unites nearly 80 young musicians and provides them with incredible opportunity. It was founded in 2001, and since its inaugural tour in 2002, the orchestra has performed over 100 concerts all over the world. Jean-Pascal Hamelin is currently conductor and music director of the Philharmonia Mundi Orchestra of Montreal. He is also one of several great artists who invest their time and passion in the orchestra, and he joins me in studio now. Thank you very much for being here.
You're welcome.
This does sound like a remarkable project, an incredible opportunity musically, geographically, socially, just networking, meeting other musicians.
Yes.
Incredible.
Yes, it gives the opportunity to musicians from any background. Some of them are a little bit poor, some of them, and they come from many, many different countries, basically all the countries of North, South, and Central America.
Did they find you, or you find them?
They found me. It's actually through a very good pianist whose name is Gabriela Montero, a Venezuelan pianist, who actually played for the instrumentation of Obama last January.
Okay. So they came to you and said, yes, would you like to become involved with
that project? Yes.
Okay. And the musicians, nearly 80 of them. I imagine that there's a rigorous selection process, or?
Yes, there are auditions that are held a little bit everywhere. Some people go to these countries of South America, North America, or some people send in tapes and they're selected, but you know, they are of a very, very high level.
Mm-hmm. Now, so you do have kind of like scouts who are going out and looking. I mean, you're getting tapes as well,
that's it. Exactly, there are scouts. I'm not going myself to audition the musicians, but yes, they are.
Yeah, okay. And Canada, how many would, in an average orchestra, I heard that the musicians change every year.
Yes,
so in a year,
yes,
would there be 2 Canadians, 10 Americans?
I think this time they were about, the time last year was about 3 or 4, but some other years there were like 7 or 8 or 10, or it depends. Okay. It depends, really.
On, I guess, who applies and the tapes
exactly.
you get, and
that's
the talent that's available.
Exactly.
Several guest conductors are part of the Youth Orchestra of the Americas, including Placido Domingo and Kent Nagano, and it's got to be exciting for you to be part of a project like this.
Yes, yes, it's something
What's the most exciting part?
I would tell you that these people, these young musicians sound really like professionals. They sound great. They are so passionate about music. And it really, there's a certain freshness, I would say, about the way that they perform the music. So, like you can hear in the recording that I made with them, they sound like a professional orchestra, but at the same time, we're able to work on certain kinds of details, and there's a certain amount of energy and of dedication that is absolutely stunning, that is really remarkable.
So how does, now, I mean, I guess any of those guest conductors could have done the CD, but you did the CD. Was that a project that you wanted to do, or something that they came to you and said, could you do a CD with the Youth Orchestra of the Americas, or how did that work? Yes,
so what happened, you see, this CD is is made by a company called Fidelio Music, and I have certain contacts, I knew certain people, and I said, would you be interested to record this orchestra? We're coming on tour to Domaine Forget in Quebec, close to Quebec, and Domaine Forget has one of the best acoustics in Canada, I would say, and in North America. So this label has a particularity that they record sound in amazing high resolution and with amazing quality, very natural sound. So it's in a sense an audiophile label. And when I told them about the acoustics and I told them that the level was going to be very high, they got very excited. When they heard the result, they couldn't believe it, really.
So once you decide to do a project like this and you get the orchestra together, and I guess you shape the musicians to give you the sound that you need to hear. How long a process is that?
Well, you know, it was interesting because there were 2 other conductors. There was the principal conductor, there was also another guest conductor whose name is Benjamin Zander, who's quite well known for other things also than music. But when I got my time with the orchestra, they had already heard being conducted in the same piece by other conductors, so I had to do my own version, but the young musicians were very flexible. And what I did basically was, there's a tremendous amount of energy that comes out of these young people. But it was, let's say, not to tame them, but to bring them to maybe calm down a little bit and transform that into beautiful music making without losing the intensity. That was my goal. And I think I succeeded not too badly.
So you're proud of the CD, obviously.
Yes.
It's nothing, you wouldn't change anything.
Oh yes, when I hear, of course. But you know, it's a live performance, and 99% of it is live. So of course there are little details. It's not mistakes. It's little things. Sometimes of phrasing, I would say, oh, I should have done this. But you know, overall, I can say that I'm quite proud of it.
We have 2 copies to give away. If you want to email me at rdagenais@globaltv.com, we have 2 of these to give away. Now, tell me about the choice of music. Is that entirely you who decides, Anton Dvorak, or... And there's a Canadian composer on here as well, composer in residence for the Edmonton Symphony Orchestra.
That's John Estasio, and who's a wonderful composer, Canadian composer. And this piece is a very fun piece. It's called The Bootlegger's Tarantella. So it's some kind of mob story put into music in 6 minutes. It's a fantastic piece. There's a piece of Marquez, who's a Mexican composer. It's a danzón. It's lovely music. And they play, those young musicians play this with such abandon. You know, it's their music. They feel it. And Dvorak, the 9th Symphony, was written in New York. That's why it's called the New World Symphony. And it actually mixes Czech, of course, because Dvorak was Czech, but Czech themes with American music, with Black American music also, and Indian music. All of this is mixed in one. So it's a perfect piece, let's say, for the Orchestra of the Americas, the Orchestra of the Americas. So
but did you choose it? Did you already know what pieces you wanted to?
Oh yes, we discussed it between the conductors. Of course, I propose a certain repertoire, then we discuss, we see what also is a good learning tool for the orchestra. It's a very famous piece, but you know, most of the young musicians it was the first time that they performed that piece. Doesn't sound like it, sounds like a professional ensemble.
Not everybody can be a good teacher. Not everybody can be a good music teacher. Obviously, you're passionate about the music, and do you enjoy working with these young musicians? I mean, I gather you do.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not, because I would imagine that, you know, their technique may not be perfect. They still have a lot to learn, and maybe it's frustrating sometimes, or but it seems like for you, it's more gratifying.
Yes. Also, there's something about the young people. As I told you, they perform this music for the first time. So there's a certain freshness. So you can ask them sometimes for crazy things, really very long phrasing, a lot of very difficult things to do that are not usual, and they will do them and they will enjoy them. If it makes sense, of course, they will enjoy them. But sometimes we don't have that with an orchestra that has performed the piece 100 or 200 times. They are used to a certain way of doing it, and sometimes, you know, if you're a very convincing conductor and you're very enthusiastic, they will go with you. But with the young people, they are, as I tell you, the only word that comes to my mind is freshness.
You're performing next month. You're going to be conducting September at the Monument National. Tell us about that.
Yes. Oh, this is a very, very original, interesting project that I had to select an orchestra of 25 musicians that are going to perform on stage. And inside a play that's revolving around Mozart, Bach, and Beethoven, and Edgar Fruitier, who's well known in Quebec as a music lover, and he's also a very good actor. So the musicians will be on stage. I will be conducting them, and it will alternate with the story. That's absolutely great. It's a fantastic play, and the music that will answer, that will participate within the action. It's 20 shows in a row.
Okay, at the Monument National next month. Jean-Pascal Hamelin is a guest conductor of the Youth Orchestra of the Americas. Thank you very much for coming in and speaking with us today. It is the second edition of the Montreal Classic Boat Festival. More than 80 classic boats will be on display next weekend. We talk to the festival founder right after this.